Chrissy Pulowski playing the Stellar Relic in my living room. Go figure. Hired dwarfs. They work cheap.
Pulling hills with the particular outfit I worked for last. The truck's a little bit of weight, 20,000 pounds. I'm doing 30 miles an hour up a hill. And when you're running New York State, going through Pennsylvania, pretty hilly areas, Route 81 going through PA is very curvy and hilly. Guess what? You end up averaging your miles on paper even though you actually drove more. And again, it also boils down to where do you shut down? I don't know what else to tell you. There's like I think a 16-hour exemption rule. But you can only use that I think once every 7 days. That if you have to go over the 14 hours, let's say emergency road conditions, you got hit with a ton of snow, you can't move. Road construction, a real bad wreck where you're sitting in traffic for 2 hours while the helicopter comes in. You're allowed to do that, and just write it on your paper as to why you went over your 14 hours. 34 hours off consecutive after you've done your 60, 70 hours of work. You have to take 34 hours off consecutively. That is something I do like. A lot of drivers don't. They want to keep working through the weekends. God bless them. But I happen to know that there are companies that would push you to work on the weekend if you didn't have that law. So there are a lot of people that say, I want to get home. I have things to do. I miss my family. Or I have to go home and take care of my cats that have been home alone all week. I have bills to pay. I have to get to the post office. I need to do some food shopping. Whatever. You have other things to do beside in that truck. And so the 34-hour restart, that's what it is, 34-hour restart where you can set your clock back to 0 hours when you go back to work. That's a good thing. I do like that. 10 hours off consecutive break, that's a good thing. When the hours of service in the United States were only 8 hours, drivers were they were very fatigued then, I think. I know the local drivers were. Because you need between 7 to 9 hours of sleep, most people. 8 hours off, by the time you got home, you had no time to eat, you had no time for your family, you had time to do nothing. I personally would end up gobbling something cold out of a can. Didn't matter what it was, just something to fill the hole in my tummy. Could be canned peas. You know, just get something in, looking at the clock. Well, if I go to sleep right now, I'll get 6 hours sleep if I'm lucky. I had an hour commute each way. It takes me an hour in the morning. I got to shower, get presentable, pack a lunch when I went home, feed my cats, get this, do that, you know, things to do. Life happens outside of a truck. And the people that make these laws obviously don't think that we're human beings that have lives and personal needs and responsibilities. Your laws over in England, you said you have 3 sets of laws, EnglishTrucker. I mean, I shake my head at what we're dealing with over here. I don't know how you guys manage over there. What I do like is you do have more rest breaks. We could take a rest break, but it counts against our 14-hour clock that's constantly ticking. If I want to stop and grab lunch for a half an hour, I can log it as off duty. But it's not going to matter. It still counts. That's a half hour out of my 14-hour day, which leaves me with 13 and a half hours. So you can see why a lot of the drivers in the United States have become really cutthroat, I think. They're not as courteous on the road as they used to be because everybody's in a big hurry. Oh, they're looking at the clock. Oh, I got to get there. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody's rushing. They're cutting each other off. I'm not seeing the amount of road courtesy out there. Certainly not seeing drivers stop to help each other as much as they used to, because you used to be able to log your off-duty time as off-duty. So it wouldn't count against your I think at the time it was a 15-hour day. It wouldn't count against your day. It was off-duty. They need to find a happy medium, and I wish they would make 2 sets of laws. One set for the over-the-road drivers and one set for your local drivers. For the locals, I'd love to see it a straight 12 and 12. 12 hours on working, 12 hours off. Give the driver time to get home. Let he or she take care of their family responsibilities and personal obligations, take care of their health. It's another thing. Truckers have a weight problem. I used to be skinny. I was in good shape. I was a real pretty lady. Guess what? You drive in a truck, you're eating garbage on the road. You don't have time to exercise. You're exhausted. You basically just want to eat dinner, go to bed, and just get up and do it all over again. And when you go home, if you have an hour commute, or unless you live 10 minutes away from your terminal, you don't have much time. So the hours of service definitely need to be tweaked. But the drivers complain, but nobody does anything. Nobody writes to their senators or their congressmen. They don't make phone calls. You hear them on the CB radio complaining. That's not going to get anything done. Shutting down, protesting, writing letters, making phone calls, getting more proactive. And refuse to allow anyone to push you illegal. If you run illegal, it's on you. Be aware that they can levy fines from anywhere from $1,000 to $11,000 per violation. It's up to the whim of the person, the DOT man, who stops you. Anyway, I hope that helps. If you have questions, ask. Because it can get a little involved. But basically, it boils down to whatever time you start that truck. If it's 3 in the morning, then count 14 hours ahead. That's when you have to be shut down, hopefully in a safe haven, in a safe location, where you can get your food and a hot shower.